Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sporting160EN podcast. We're on episode 172 today, and we've got a jam-packed episode for you today. But before we get into it, let me introduce to you my co-host first, main man Rich. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. I'm really good. We scraped a win. We called it last week. Arouca gave us a nice little scare, but we kind of shithoused our way through to the final with maybe a couple Kazus. So it is what it is, though. We play Porto on Saturday is the final, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I'll set aside my calendar that day.
Nice. And last but not least, we got the main man Chris. How you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Definitely would have been bitterly disappointed if we weren't at least playing for, a winter championship final. We are the task of the League of Merchants now. This is where we shine. So, to not make the final would have been really disappointing. So we'll talk about it, but job done. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, and of course you can follow me here as well. Also, don't forget to follow Steph and the main man Danny as well. And also, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Sporting160_EN. Also, if you haven't already, you're watching this now, please subscribe. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully, let's put a target of maybe June. So we'll go 6 months in. Hopefully, we can get
End of the season.
Okay.
End of the season, which is about June, anyways.
Yeah, like early second week of May or something.
Yeah. End of the season, hopefully we get to 1,000 subscribers. Also, TikTok is popping off at the moment, so make sure you follow us down there as well for shorts of the podcast. If you don't have time to watch it all, we'll upload the best bits down there. Now, let's get into before we get into the football, we'll get into the transfer news. And of course, there is one big story that is dominating the headlines. And when I get it up, I will show you.
Oh, I haven't heard. What is it?
It is, when it loads.
Fatawa might get loaned.
Life-changing news.
Philippe Xabi has gone to Belenenses side.
I forgot about
Belenenses,
that one.
normal, sorry.
The real Belenenses, not
Chris,
fake Belenenses.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, Chris, this is your forte.
Where was
Obviously,
he
Philippe
before?
Xabi. He was in Azerbaijan. We cut
right.
ties with him.
He's
He
not
was in
ours anymore,
Azerbaijan.
officially.
But yeah,
Back.
Chris, man,
He's back.
what do you think of this blockbuster move?
I'm really excited to have. I don't know why he shouldn't have left Portugal. Ever. I know the stint at Coimbra was bad. They got relegated. Maybe had to burn off some steam, but he's back now, baby.
Yeah, okay. Obviously, that was a joke, but one that I enjoyed at least. So we'll go on to the actual transfer news, and this is actually dominating the headlines, and that is Pedro Porro. Imminent departure, according to record, to Spurs. The clause is going to be paid, whether that's installments or anything, we don't know yet, but record has said it's close to being done. Fabrizio tweeted about 15 minutes ago saying exactly the same thing, that talks are progressing and it's going to be done in the next 24 to 48 hours. Tariq Lamptey has been apparently looked at as a replacement on loan from the Sporting Sad to get in if Porro does leave. So it's a whole big story with dominoes, obviously leading on to other things. But Rich, I'll start off with you. 45 million for Pedro Porro. Pretty much a done deal as far as we're aware, unless anything changes. We know Daniel Levy from Spurs loves to cheap out, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But what are your thoughts on the overall deal?
Well, we kind of figured like around this weekend was when stuff was probably going to start heating up. We figured if it wasn't going to be after, like right before the toss of the Liga final, it'd be right after. So not a huge shock. In terms of the price, I'm shocked we actually held out for the release clause for once, because like we haven't done that in ages. It's a fair price. Like we have 70% of his pass, so we basically end up with just over 30 million by the time it all shakes out, and we have to split with Man City, which still isn't bad for a player we spent 8.5 million on. That's an amazing return on investment. So I have little complaints. It sucks because we're losing, in my opinion, arguably our best player this season, up there with probably Nuno Sanch. Yeah, it hurts because I love the guy, but he's gonna get paid a lot more to go to Tottenham, and I can't say I blame him, but he's got to go play for Tottenham. So my condolences at the same time.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris, what about you? What are your overall thoughts on this deal if it does go through?
Yeah, like obviously acknowledging the reality of the situation, like that our players are obviously, our better ones are going to get often robbed, stuff like that. Obviously that the salary, stuff like that, we're not going to be able to compete with that. And also we all it seemed like it was trending to happen and that it was probably going to happen. They were bidding 30, then 30 plus players, then 37 plus. It's like you could see that they were kind of building to getting there. There's like a week left in the window. Like it's probably going to get there. I am a bit shocked that I think that if we're winning against Arouca, or 1-0 or 2-0, he doesn't come on.
Yeah.
And when he did come on, he made an impact. Very, very
He
clearly.
almost scored on his first touch.
He almost scored instantly.
Amazing.
He had a couple of dangerous balls, and within 3 minutes, we had actually scored the goal. So it was a measurable impact. Again, I think that him not starting was a pretty clear indicator, even yesterday, how close this was. We know that they had talks all day today. Probably got closer, probably figured out the exact installment payment plan. Maybe they're going to get someone on loan. It seems like that kind of talk has died down. So it's just figuring out the payment structure. I always thought something like 40 plus 5 was probably one of the more realistic outcomes. Wouldn't shock me if that's what it ends up being. Sporting might be trying to get 45 plus 5 or something like that. And Spurs is like, nah, we'll only go to the release clause or something like that. So hashing out final details, but Saturday, I wonder if he'll even be dressed Saturday. He could even be announced as a Spurs player before then at this point. It's Wednesday. He could be it could be like it's final Thursday. He flies to London Friday. He's holding up the jersey Friday. He's not playing Saturday. And if he's one step away from that, he's probably not even going to dress. So I think that we sadly may have seen the last of Pedro Porro, which is kind of surprising to me because I would have thought that we would have tried to hold out through the Allianz Cup, and knowing that we still had 3 days, like we talked about, from the final to deadline day, still those 3 days to get it done. I'm kind of shocked, I'll be honest. Like we're kind of getting owned a little bit on that front.
Yeah, we're owning ourselves. It's totally self-inflicted. Like we could have probably held out until like the 11th hour on Saturday.
It's like I'm glad we're getting the clause, presumably.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not mad about what we're getting.
I guess that's the trade-off. I don't know. I don't get why the urgency is. The Spurs have I don't know what their schedule looks like. But yeah, it seems like there's plenty of time, It's only January 25th,
Yeah, like the window closes what?
Especially since we only do business on deadline day in recent years, This is all crazy. Everything that's happening is crazy. Even though it is eventually going to lead to the same outcome, us losing a critical player at the end of the window. It is happening in a different way, you could say, than it normally does, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm going to agree with both of you. Obviously, I mean, I don't think we've ever sold a player for the release clause, ever. So it's not.
We've had guys.
We technically still haven't, right? But it seems like we are.
Things could change, but we've come close a few times, but we've never had a guy outright for the release clause.
Yeah, but it's also because we're setting the one bad thing I have about this deal is that the clause is so low. It's 45 million in these days and nothing, especially when you have to remember that City are getting 30% of this deal anyway. That takes, what's that, going to 27, 28 million or something like that?
We end up with, I think I did the math today, if it's...
Subtract another at least 10%.
If it's 45 million, we'll get 30 some, we'll get just over 30 million before, I'm assuming an intermediary, like an agent or something, probably takes another 5-10% of that. I would say probably 5% at least.
Yeah.
So
usually
the only thing is if we're not getting all of the fee, you'd think that the Sad and Veranda should be like, okay, since we're not getting all the fee, we're going to put the release cost to 60 or 70. I know 45 for right back is quite a lot.
Even 50 would have made a difference.
Yeah,
50-55 would have made a difference.
But it's just like even for guys
Sometimes
like
it feels
Inaccio's
like
got 45 million release clause as
when
well.
they do the release clause, they just take a dart and just throw it, and it's like, okay, 60 for
It's
this
a
one,
random number
55.
generator.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of is, and it like usually, like honestly, it doesn't usually matter. And if it's something super elevated, like let's say it was 80, right? Obviously, they're not going to pay 80 million right now. Nobody is.
Mhm.
But would we
It also gives us more negotiating room
how
as
much
well.
more
So
could how much more could we really get out of them? Do you think?
Out of Tottenham,
I
not
think
a lot,
you-
but I
I
think
think
you
at a
probably could
multi-
get like a Real
50.
Madrid or someone else to come in. He's been linked to like 5 different clubs in the last 6 months.
He would go to Real Madrid in the summer if he didn't leave to go to Tottenham now. It seems like that's what would happen, right?
I think you could still get another like 5. I think you can get like between 50 and 55.
What I don't get is why Man City just doesn't pull trigger on their lowered buyback clause of 25 million. Why don't they just do that? And then just even if they don't want him, just sell him. They don't care about like making a quick like 30 million just for like.
Does it have something to do with financial fair play? Maybe that's the only.
Imagine they buy him back and then loan him to Sporting till the end of the season after they hit buyback, and he's on loan again, or he just stays on City. I don't know, bro. I don't get it why City doesn't.
Well, what's their right back depth chart? Like it's Cancelo and Kyle Walker, but Cancelo plays left back half the time.
They've been playing John Stones at right back, I think, as well.
They're back blinders.
Good for him.
But yeah, it's a low clause. It doesn't give us a lot of negotiating room anyway. And also, like so many teams, like I said last podcast, that in the Premier League he gets into. But every team right now really needs a right back. Like we said, Real Madrid, probably even teams like Barcelona, Atletico Madrid. These are guys that need fullbacks, and like there's not many great ones around Europe, especially at Porro's age. He's still under 20 and 24, if not 24, 23. So he's still
I think he's like 23.
Yeah, exactly. So they have Rico Lewis as well, who's a youngster. But I think it's 45 million is what it is. I think we probably could have got more. But at the end of the day, we're powerless if a team comes to pay the clause. I really hope they do pay the clause. I don't want some. The only deal I take is the one I saw the other day where it was like 35 plus the rest of Edwards, which is the 50%.
Yeah,
I
whatever you lose on Porro's deal, you'll more than make up for with Edwards, like in the summer.
Also Edwards, no talk about him whatsoever since the 50%.
It's died down.
Someone in theory could come in on a deadline day raid. It's not impossible.
Yeah,
he's been playing a little bit worse, I guess, and we still only had the 50%. It's not in the Edwards. It seems to be not going to happen in this Porro deal. No. So. But also, Tottenham's interest in him seems to have died down as well. Because at one point, it was the double raid coming, but now it seems they've only focused on Porro.
Well, Sam pointed out Daniel Levy is kind of cheap. He's one of the of the alleged big six. He's probably the cheapest of the 6 club owners, because Man City has infinite money. The Glazers like to light money on fire. Arsenal.
They spend a lot of money.
Chelsea spends a lot. Chelsea's always spent a lot of money since I was a kid, because they went from Russian oligarch to American oligarch, so they're going to spend money. So that leaves Levy as kind of the odd man out. So like, what do you do? So I think that's just they had to pick their player to die on, and it's the right back, not the winger. Also, on your point about
it's the more complete player right now, probably.
Yeah. Also, on the point about the release clauses we were talking, I think they use the same number generator that the Portuguese League and Federation uses to determine their fines. They just use a random number generator.
That is 100% a random
This is what we're going to get today, and this is the number.
10,624. It's like there's no way 11, that's not a random number.
11 for the Sporting Women's Code.
They pick a range, and then it generates a random number.
What the people who are European based, what does 11 euros buy you right now? Because I don't know what that converts to quite in Canadian. I know Canadian dollars sucks,
it'll buy you lunch.
It'll cool.
In Portugal. But it will buy you $11 will not buy you lunch in America. But for now, it will in Portugal, presumably, in most places.
Yeah. 11 euros will buy you lunch in Portugal. It probably doesn't buy you anything in Canada. It probably buys you like a pack of gum or like a Kit Kat.
Yeah. Just on Chris's point about Edwards as well. What makes me laugh about it was like Anthony Gordon is rumored to go to Newcastle, and Everton wants 60 million. He's not a better player than Marcus. There was no disrespect to Everton or Everton fans, whatever. No chance. He's. I think Edwards has played more professional games than him as well. This is like Anthony Gordon's like second or third season.
This is English tax plus Prem tax, is what it is.
Yeah, but it's also like, again, I think Edwards has a clause of 45 million. Like, why are we setting these clauses so low when you can I'm not saying he can go for 60, but like at least put it up so it's not just easily done. But yeah, speaking of fines as well, I wanted to say this last time, but I completely forgot. If someone can you please add up the amount of fines that Miguel Braga has got on Sporting and see if we could buy a striker with the money?
Someone's got time out there, please. Like, I know
someone must have
time on the internet.
I wonder what it's probably between him and Vienna and like all of the like garage incidents that are like some random dirigents. I bet it's probably like in the couple 100,000 range, at least like 500,000, maybe closer to $1 million even. But like, feels like it maxes out at like $1 million, but it's definitely in the hundreds of thousands. You would think
it's got to be up there with the amount of shenanigans.
Because it's 10K, 20K, 10K, 8K, like it adds up over time. Yeah. When you do it like 17 times a season for 6 years now.
Yeah, I want to know just over the last like calendar year from this time like today to like a year ago. What have we done in a 12-month span?
Well, yeah, there's also the sort of brawl for all that happened at Porto, I think probably almost a year ago now, where I think a lot of fines were given out. So that was what? Got fined.
That was a league game or a Tossa game where they just decided it was like the semi-pro scene. Everybody hit somebody and they just started swinging at each other.
I think it was a league.
I don't remember.
I think it was a league.
Was it a league game?
I think it was a league game.
It was a league game because then we played them twice after in the Tossa Portugal after.
We did.
Yeah, and nothing happened in those two games.
We blew a 2-0 lead that game too. That league game. That was the game that basically took us out of the title.
Because Coates got sent off. I remember. Yeah.
That was the game that took us out of the title, was that game. And I was like, yeah, we're done. We've blown a 2-0 lead. We had to win this game.
But yeah, just food for thought. If anyone does have the time to add up Miguel Braga's fines and let us know, I'd be glad. And add Hugo Viana. I saw last week, I wasn't on the podcast, but on Hugo Viana's birthday, he got a fine for saying something to... Was it against Benfica, I think?
It was against Benfica, yeah.
It was Benfica.
Yeah. It was in the tunnel, yeah.
Yeah, it was a tunnel.
He gets fined just as much as Miguel Braga, if not.
He can't help himself, man. He picks up like a €200 fine for standing in the wrong area constantly. Yeah, he must not be allowed to like go to the bench or something, and he must just always do it.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, it's something he just repeat offender of.
He's got a bunch of big points, but he has even more like just stupid little
or not wearing the right identification. Or whatever the fuck.
He's got a bunch of little fines for like stuff that can very easily just be avoided, and he's like, screw you, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, that and Miguel Braga and the guy from Porto, Francisco Marques, and Benfica's communications director, I can't remember the name. Why are all three of them so like stupid and so they're like angry little chihuahuas? All they want to do is
it's like their job. I feel like it's like job requirement, like that's the objective.
I think it goes on like their CV or their resume that you have to be wanting to like stir the pot.
They're just
like be annoying while doing it.
Yeah, be as much of a nuisance as you possibly can.
I will say I don't think Hugo Viana is as bad as Francisco Marques, because that guy is everywhere, and I think I'm going to put allegedly here so I don't get sued or anything. Domestic abuse against his wife, I think last year, maybe 2 years ago. So that guy just seems like a piece of shit in general. But anyway, I'll swiftly move on. I wanted to get onto this bit, which is again still Pedro Porro, but we're just going to read out some stats for you. So he's played 96 games, 12 goals from right back, obviously, 20 assists, 1 league title, 2 Taça de Ligas, 1 Super Taça. He was named in the Team of the Year in 2020 to 2021 and 21 to 22 seasons. Like we said, 45 million. But what I'm going to ask you, I'll start with you, Rich. What is your favorite Pedro Porro moment?
It's hard to pick just one. He's got a few. That that moment of like in that home game against Vizela was like amazing. Like I know it's recency bias, that's up there. But he scored in the League Cup against Braga the first time we won as well, when we went back to the first of the back-to-backs. That was pretty sweet. That was a COVID year too, so there was like nobody in the stadium. So that's probably up there. I think he ended up scoring what was the game winner in the 2021 Taça Liga. I'll put that up there because it won us a trophy, and we were going into that season very much not expecting to do anything. We had come off of a disaster campaign the year before, so we were just like, if we can even kind of sniff around like a European spot and get into like a couple semifinals or quarterfinals, we'd be happy. So I'll put that one, the game winner against Braga in the Taça Liga.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris, what about you? What's your favorite Pedro Porro moment?
That's definitely a good one. He has scored a few bangers.
He's scored a few
for sure. He's definitely scored a few bangers, or just even inside the box shots that are just really well placed and hard. Yeah, giving his jersey to Maggie on that video is.
That was
I changed my mind. That's my favorite Pedro Porro moment.
That is
I changed my mind.
Bro, that has like generated so much content for so many different groups of people over the past like 6 months. Just his like the other like TikTok videos that he's recorded, dancing with like random 15-year-old girls like in the garage. I mean, the guy is content, bro. The guy is content. He's active on Twitter. Not many players really are.
His Twitter's so like, funny sometimes too.
He's content, bro. And I'm like gonna miss him as a player, and I'm gonna miss him as fucking content. Like, and I'll also always be a fan of his as well.
And he would just like he'd comment on like he just random comments on like Ugart's like Instagram or something.
Ugart's the only other one who is.
Yeah, Ugart's kind of funny too. God help us if we lose him. We're gonna have no content. Yeah, we're losing one content machine for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine was the one that Chris said about hugging Maggie on the backstage sporting video, but there was also him dancing in the club with her as well, which I think got more viral and definitely. Yeah, a lot of people. Unfortunately, took it a bit too far, I think. But I would say in terms of game, there's one that's really underrated, and I feel like because not a lot of people remember the goals, and it's because I went to it as well, was the Sporting Dortmund game where he got the rebound on the header from the penalty, and that pretty much was the goal that sent us through to.
That ended up being decisive because we would concede again, right?
Yeah, that was like decisive.
3-2. Yeah.
3-1.
That was the game. We needed to win by 2. Essentially.
Yeah, and
we were up 2-0. It put us up 3-0, and then we conceded.
Yeah, that's what clinched it. That's what clinched it with a game to spare. Was that goal basically?
Yes, so that one for me. But there, like you said, the one against Braga and just others. There are so many other games that you could pick, and I think that's a testament to how good he was. Like we've read out the stats from right back to score double-digit goals, let alone 12 and 20 assists. It's just absolutely fantastic. And obviously, it's football is primarily stats based, but there is a lot of stuff you can see that isn't on the stats. That when you see Pedro Porro, every tackle that he wins, like sort of like grabs the shirt, and like you could tell he loves the club and he loves the fans. Yeah, he loved being here, and I think, you know, I don't want to say his career was sort of going downwards, but he started at like the top with Man City, and then Valladolid and Girona. I'm not saying those were down, but it's like no one really heard of Pedro Porro, and then he came to Sporting, did a successful loan, won the league, and then, you know, is back to heights. I personally think Spurs is the wrong move for him anyway, but, you know, for him, it's life-changing money. And I suppose even guys like Reguilon, who went to Tottenham, are now back at like Atletico Madrid. So it's not like a career ender. He's still young, even if that move doesn't work out. And I'm not trying to say it won't. But yeah, I mean, top man, top player.
I see him back in Spain. He'll be back.
He'll end up at like Real Madrid. There was rumors of Barca and Madrid.
Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico. He will be at a top team in Spain one day. But he's living his Premier League dream.
One last fun moment. I think he assisted the goal, Mateus Nunes' goal against Braga, in the title-winning year as well. when we were down 10 men.
He
I
did.
think he might have got the assist on that goal. So that's up there,
I think he did, too.
Because we played, like, from, like, 25 minutes on with 10 men, and we
played a curving ball
like, that victory.
Around.
He missed, like, the whole defense and midfield with the ball and managed to find the one guy open. Like, it was a hell of a ball. Because, yeah, that was a game where, like, if we lose this game, it could be very dicey in the championship. And then we shithoused our way with that goal, and he assisted.
Yeah, most definitely. And to Juicebox comment, no, but yes, I guess is the best answer.
It's unofficially official. I guess it's like Fabrizio Romano's basically. I think he's already tweeted, "Here we go." Like it's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah, he said in the next 24 to 48 hours, it's going to be a done deal, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
we'll probably find out tomorrow or Friday at the latest. I would think. You might see him in the stands Saturday to celebrate with the team, but even that might not happen with how fast.
Yeah, he might be in England at that point. He might even be in England.
Yeah, he might already be in London.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Rich, you said to celebrate with the team, does that mean that we're going to win on Saturday?
Oh, I'm an optimistic guy. I know.
I mean, here's the thing.
We might get battered.
Made the final, so he's going to be receiving a medal in the mail either way.
We gotta keep up the streak.
I don't know what you do with an Allianz Cup runners-up medal you receive in the mail. I don't know what you do with that.
Especially because he's already got 2 winners' medals as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm sorry. Any runners-up medal is like an Olympic gold medal or like a World Cup Euros winner medal, or runner-up medal. I'm not keeping that shit. Like an Allianz Cup medal.
Funny to have a Porro invasion after not dressing for the game, but
yeah,
I think we should just focus on winning the game first, which is a difficult enough task.
Well, we gotta keep up the shit house with the shit talk with Porto to say we've got Toss Ligas when you don't, so fuck you.
True. But
we got to keep that up. So
can't allow them. Can't allow them in, bro.
We can't let them get the first one against us.
Yeah, and also just on your point, Rich, I agree with the second place medal. Apart from in the Olympics, because technically that means you're like, imagine if you lose the 100 meters, you're still like second fastest man in the world.
You're still one of the it's the same with like a word. I know people like some football, soccer players are like, I don't keep my runners up medal from like the World Cup. I'm like, bro, that still means you're one of like the top players, like
that's pretty
on earth. Like stuff like that I can see, but like a League Cup winners medal, like I wouldn't, or a runners up medal, like I wouldn't fucking bother. Same with like a Super Tossa winner, like runners up medal, I wouldn't keep.
Participation trophy.
That's what it is. It's a participation, like stuff like I get like stuff like that for clubs. It's like you want to have the best for like national team and stuff. It's a bit of a different story, but I think the Allianz Cup runners-up medal, should he get that, I think I would just use it as a paperweight or send it back in the mail or conveniently misplace it between the sofa cushions.
Yeah, take the silk necklace off it and just use it as a paperweight. Yeah.
Use the silk thing as like the things that hold your keys, like a keychain.
It's going to accidentally be sold on eBay. That's what I think.
Accidentally
I'd buy it.
I would buy that.
But anyway, speaking of Taça de Liga, I guess we'll get on to the game that happened yesterday, and that was a 2-1 win versus Arouca at Larea, and that
shot. Nuno Santos got a 10.0 on goal point. That's outrageous from them. I'm sorry.
He got a 10.0 on goal point, Sofa score, and
10.0 how, Sway?
He hacked the ratings, dude. He had like 10 completed through balls and like 4 traded big chances.
Paulinho scored 2
and he had
only 8.2. I just want to point that out.
But yeah,
he was different, bro.
I'll read out the lineup, which is Dan in goal, St. Just, who was pulled at 60 minutes because he's on a fitness plan, apparently, so he gets subbed off every 60 minutes for the next few games. Coates, Matias Reis, Ugarte, Morita, Nuno Santos, a surprising inclusion of Ricardo Esgaio at right back, Marcus Edwards, Pedro Gonçalves, and Paulinho. Trincao was out injured with the flu, so he didn't play. Inacio came on, Porro came on, Artur Gomes came on, Tanlongo came on, and Chemeti came on. Hashtag free Rochinha. Where is he? Why is he not on the bench? Why is Jovan on the bench instead? I don't know. And side note, Alan Ruiz got an assist, of a very good assist actually, former Sporting player, of course. Didn't get the goal as he wanted, as he said.
No.
Yeah, managed to get the assist. Chris, I'll start off with you. What were your overall thoughts on the game?
To be honest, like I kind of thought like between this game and the previous game, Arouca Vizela, they're similarly like upper middle table. Like I thought they were I thought the games were going to be pretty similar, and I honestly thought like Vizela, like despite us like not putting away a bunch of chances, like did actually attempt to play the game more. I feel like Arouca kind of went with the sit back strategy, a bit more. To be honest, like I really did feel like we dominated them. Like in the first 45 minutes, like we were completely on top of them. Like and like honestly, like I thought it was actually like overall like one of the better like halves that we've had. They like barely reached the goal. We were on top of them consistently, playing combinations. Like St. Just was out there. I thought like he was playing pretty well, to be honest. So like that was that, and then have the lead. Second half, we're playing with the lead, and so we obviously, I guess, decided to relax a bit more. And Arouca really took initiative in the start of that second half and just like came at us, and were right at us. And it's honestly a bit disappointing that they were able to just basically score on their first like 12-minute wave of pressure and tie the game up after really not doing anything at all in the first half. We just kind of surrendered the initiative. And then obviously it had to be Paulinho. 20 Allianz Cup goals.
He's the Allianz /UEFA man.
All-time competition leading goal scorer. No one scores goals in the Allianz Cup like this man. Just comes up in a clutch situation for us and avoids penalties, which would have been an absolute coin flip.
Oh, I think we would have fucking lost. I don't think I've ever seen a dog save a penalty.
Yeah,
I don't think I've seen him come close to saving a penalty.
Incidents.
You're on mute, Sam.
Sorry, Rich. What are your overall thoughts on the game?
Similar to Chris. Like I felt when we went into halftime, like we absolutely deserved to be in front. Like we created chance after chance. They were very content to kind of sit back and just absorb pressure. We had a bunch of chances, and then they came down and scored an absolute worldie of goal. I wasn't mad about the goal per se. Like it was a hell of a goal. I'm like, you know what? If they're gonna score that, like fair. It just pissed me off because I felt like we deserved one. They ended up calling it back. So why did they call that back? Was it a handball? Like what was the reason for the call? Handball. It was a handball. Okay, sure. I'll take it.
See, they're mad because they think it's a foul on that guy that causes.
I thought it was a foul on
the
that
handball,
guy.
and it is. But the VAR can't review two fouls It can't review a random foul. It can only review the thing previous, previous to the thing to rule it out, and the thing that was the goal. So the previous incident that they have to refer back to is the handball. Not how it became a handball, which was him getting shoved to the ground, basically.
That's so brutal. That's hard.
It is brutal. I understand why they're hard done, right? And obviously the world-class goal, when anytime a world-class goal is ruled out for anything, you feel hard done, especially where you're just defending for 44 minutes and you've gone down and done that.
He definitely meant to cross that, by the way. I don't think he meant to shoot.
No chance. He tried to Trivella cross and it just went straight.
He was
straight on Trivella.
He thought he was Ricardo Quaresma was going to bend it like unbelievably, and he was Ricardo Quaresma. He just scored on a fluke Trivella. But yeah, then goal gets ruled out, and then almost immediately we score, like right at halftime. It was the Allianz man,
beautiful
Paulinho.
Goal.
It was a good goal.
Perfectly timed run by Gonçalves.
Yeah, I thought Pedro Gonçalves had a decent game. Had an okay game. going in the second half, we kind of we definitely let them back into the game. They, like you said, they had 10, 11, maybe 12 minutes of pressure, and they scored basically on their first kind of big attack. But then it was almost like they were content to sit back again. We controlled the game again. It was almost like they were playing for penalties. We had chances. We saw Porro on, which I know was a bit of a shock to everybody, myself included. I didn't think he was going to play. His first touch, he almost scores. He puts it like inches wide of the net, that would have been the stuff of legend if he had scored that. That would have been amazing. But then we ended up scoring a few minutes after. Anyways, Paulinho gets the second goal off a nice cross. Kind of push again for another goal, but don't really have any luck. Paulinho goes off hurt, and my immediate thought was he's separated his shoulder, but thankfully it's not that. It's just a nasty bruise, so hopefully he'll be okay for Saturday. We did almost let them back in for a second. They got some sustained pressure towards the end, but nothing too worrying personally. Overall, like, okay game. I feel like we almost gave it away on our own stupidity, but I'll take a 2-1 win. There's a couple causers in this game as well to get to, so yeah, it is what it is.
You read my mind as you said that. I was getting up this image.
A few causers.
So this is what the handball was given for. I obviously can't play the video because I don't want to get
you'll get suspended. Us taken down so quick.
So basically what happens, and I believe Coates does get the ball on the foul, although it is minimal contact on the ball. And what happens is the Arouca player falls, and like he's gone to like get the ball with his hand, and unfortunately it hits his leg. If he doesn't hit his leg, then it's not going to hit his hand.
He tries to
grab it, like when you take a quick
he
foul.
Falls down next to it, and it almost hits his arm. It doesn't, and then he tries to grab at it and like whiffs it, but he still
got like just the edge of his hand.
Yeah. When you get tripped, you grab the ball. It forces the referee into the decision. You know, that's what he's trying to do. But he realizes his teammate's right there. His teammate basically takes it off his hand.
Yeah.
But it still hits his hand. Unlucky, but I mean, he is trying to grab the ball. If it didn't hit his hand, it would have meant he tried to grab it and failed, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. If he doesn't make the movement towards the ball of his hand, then yeah, it's 100% it's not a foul. But because he does, although it is unlucky that it hits his foot, then hits his hand, it's a foul to me. And it is unlucky that such a beauty of a goal is ruled out because, like, I'm not saying that I celebrated the goal. Obviously, I'm not celebrating a goal against my team, but I was like, holy shit.
You put in the chat, I'm not mad about that goal. I'm like, I'm not mad about the goal. I'm mad we conceded.
I wasn't. It was a good counter attack. Like, it wasn't, no one really made a mistake. It was just a good finish. Like, Dan did, I guess Dan probably could have been positioned better, but like.
No goalie stopping that. I'm sorry. That was like the counter attack of dreams. Like, I don't care who, we can shit on it down all we want. Find me a goalie that stops that.
It was also definitely supposed to be a cross, but it just looked amazing. So I'll give it to the guy.
If you score, all you gotta do is say, "Yeah, I meant to do that," and people might sit there and say, "Oh, maybe he did mean to do that." If you score, no one cares. It's all about the end result.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I did feel like it was tough because I felt maybe it could have gone either way. I wouldn't have been mad if it was given, if that makes sense, because I feel like it was, although he does reach the ball, I still think it's a little harsh.
Because he doesn't fully grab it. He just glances it barely.
Great.
It's not like he gets a whole palm on it, you know? And like,
yeah, this isn't Thierry Henry versus
touching
Ireland,
it for a second. It just glances his hand.
Yeah, this isn't like Thierry Henry where he like volleyball smacks it off of his knee kind of thing. Like, this was very much just like he grazed the side of the ball.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I felt bad for the guy because I could imagine like when he got into the dressing room at halftime, especially because we literally scored from that free kick that was given.
Yeah.
Paulinho with a great assist from Pot as well. So yeah, that ended up biting Arouca back in the arse. But you know, it is what it is. Like I said, if it was given either way, I wouldn't have minded. But the second one, I suppose, is from everyone's favorite Twitter user, Porro whatever his name is. I can't be bothered to say it, but he is a whiny little bitch, this guy. But anyway, he gives this angle to say Paulinho's offside. If you zoom in right here, you can see the Arouca player's foot like here. So
right behind him, yeah.
It's very tight.
It's
tight.
close. I thought it was offside on first glance.
I thought it was too. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely convinced because you actually do have a very decent angle at it. It almost is straight on, which is like not like when you don't have the perfect angle, you'll never know for sure. But we actually do have about quite as good as an angle as you could have.
The red line looks kind of parallel to me.
I'm not convinced. Paulinho's shoulder line is not further than the toe, but
yeah, it's
this
really
ain't Qatar,
close.
bro. We don't have the sensor, so I guess we'll never know.
It's really close. Like,
but to be fair, their goal is also should have been ruled out. So
yeah,
I guess the ref just kind of felt bad. That's low-key what happened in the other game.
Yeah,
other goal could have been ruled out. He kind of felt bad. Just gave us
whatever. Yeah, it's so close. Like, that is ungodly close. Yeah, I first glanced off with you. I thought it was off. I was very pleasantly surprised when they ruled it a goal. There's not much else to say. It's a really tight call. It's one of those. If you call it offside, we would have probably been pissed off. At the same time, if he calls it not offside, another section of people are gonna be pissed off. You're put in a tough spot. Like, it's a really tight call.
The thing is, I can't tell
seen the
this
lines.
foot
Do they
here,
have the lines?
I haven't seen the lines.
Is that Paulinho's foot or is that this guy's foot back here? Like this
That's
one
the
down
thing.
here.
That guy's foot. I think it's that guy's foot because Paulinho's cleat is red.
Yeah, so to me that shows offside because obviously it's shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say as well, if VAR is used for clear and obvious, especially on the first one, is it clear and obvious that it's a direct handball and it was intentional? I don't know. That's I get that argument of it as well, because VAR is supposed to be used if it's clear and obvious mistake, you overturn it.
Yeah.
But if you have to look at a monitor for like 4 minutes and be like, okay,
once you spend more than 2.5 minutes on it, I don't think you should be overturning the call. Because my experience, I watch a lot of hockey just for comparison. The rule for video review has always been if you don't have enough to overturn the original call and you're not sure, the original call stands. You don't reverse the call unless you're 100% certain that you have enough evidence to overturn it. And this would be one of those instances where if the goal is called onside, if it's an onside goal and he's fine and you're not sure, it holds up. But if you call it offside and you're not sure when you're going back,
that's how MLS is. MLS has like a 5 centimeter or 10 centimeter offside buffer.
Yeah.
Like, if it's under 10 cm, they don't change it.
Yeah.
So like the goal that Sporting had ruled out a couple seasons ago for 2 cm, like would have not been ruled out in MLS, even if they determined that it was 2 cm, which was questionable to begin with.
Yeah, that's like, how do you even know that? I'm sorry.
So yeah. So that's how it should be. But like in Portugal, like it isn't an actual rule, so it's inconsistently applied.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to be able to if you applied the rules consistently, then I don't think you even hear a complaint. But because we're so wildly inconsistent with how we enforce anything, you're always going to have these debates and these causes come up because no one really is 100% certain what the actual rule or what the actual
But I'm going to be honest,
thing is.
Sam, I'm going to have to look at this again because when I was looking at it yesterday, I was not looking at the line between his shoulder and the back foot. I was looking at his line between the shoulder and that front defender. And I'm pretty sure he's a little bit off, but now I'll have to take a look again because,
I'm still not 100% certain that's not his cleat. That might still be his cleat.
We don't have. I'll have to look.
We don't know,
again, but I'm pretty sure he was wearing colored cleats.
I
and that cleat looks white.
Can Sport TV invest in some fucking 1080p cameras for once? Maybe we could actually figure this out because it looks like it's still filming like for the friggin' Nokia some days. Like, we have the technology.
Yeah. I think those are the only two sort of controversial, unless I'm forgetting one off the top of my head. Oh, there is one more, which I'll get.
I think there was like a penalty shout or something, like a handball shout, another one that didn't end up getting called.
Yeah, so that was so it was in the 33rd minute. I'll get up the picture here and also plug my Twitter in the meantime because I was the one who tweeted first, not Diego Bernardo, by the way.
Yeah,
stealing my tweet. I see you.
You've had that a lot, people nabbing your tweets. You had some bad luck with that.
Just the retweet button costs nothing, man.
It really doesn't. Even the quote tweet button costs nothing. Like,
but this was it. So obviously pictures don't tell the story of a video, but you could see what I was getting at here is that his arm is clearly not by his side, but the referee thinks that's what it is. So. Yeah. But do you guys think this is a penalty, or do you think it's just the picture?
This is another harsh one for me. Not called on the field. Does he make himself a little bit bigger? Yes.
A little.
But we ask defenders to keep their arms in a natural position. He's basically like doing that, you know?
Yeah.
It's very harsh to overturn and call this, you know?
Because I don't think he's intentionally sticking his arm out.
But to be fair, on the contrary, it is a very dangerous shot that is 100% going on target.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't like overturning calls like this, to be honest.
No, I'm with you. Like it's a harsh call, 100%. I don't think he's really intentionally. If this isn't Luis Suarez in the 2010 World Cup, this isn't Pedro Porro in the Clásico against Porto where he's blatantly stuck out his fucking hand. Like it's hit his just.
That was
above,
another
like
great memory, bro.
That was a good one too.
Did not need to do that at all, bro.
Better goalkeeping performance.
He's like,
that game.
Watch the Suarez highlight video way too many times, and he's like, I'm gonna do this too.
Well, he had a better goalkeeping performance than Adon that game somehow with one save. Yeah, it hits his elbow. He's not stuck out his hand very deliberately. You can see in the video he is trying to keep his arms to his side, but like play football once. It's involuntary when your arm sways a little bit, especially when you're moving side to side at a high speed. It's gonna happen. It's gonna sway a little bit. I don't think it's tough to overturn. I don't think it's a penalty either. I could see why you would call it a penalty, but to me, I think it's a harsh call.
Yeah, I agree. If it hits his hand, like if it was a bit lower and it hits his hand instead of
I'm arguing that's penalty. Yeah. But if it's like his lower shoulder, kind of his elbow, like no.
Yeah, like Chris was saying, that is still technically a natural position because obviously players don't walk around like the referee's doing all the time. Otherwise, that would be stupid. So to me,
that looks so dumb.
Yes, that is natural.
Penguin.
Yeah.
Try sprinting like that. See what happens.
But yeah, it's just I think although it did get me a little bang on Twitter, but other than that, I don't think it was. I mean, I've seen them given in the Portuguese league. That's the thing.
Yeah, people were riding for it, so for sure.
And again, it's because things are the rules are so inconsistent in our league. We don't know what is one thing and what isn't. It's tough to decipher. If the people enforcing the rules don't know the rules, how the hell is anybody, regardless of if you're Portista, Sportingista, Benfiquista, whatever, how the hell are we supposed to know the rules if they don't know the rules? And they're the ones who are enforcing them. They don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
By the way, I love Nuno Santos. He did not deserve a 10 goal points on something. The 10.0 rating, absurd.
At least a 9, though.
A 9, yeah. But like, if you're getting a 10 point, like you got to be like Mini Minter in the Sidemen charity match. You got to pull up like a hat trick and like 2 assists.
Easily. They don't give 10.0s out easily. So much so that they send you a T-shirt in the mail if you get a 10. I have this burned into my memory. I'm pretty sure Edinho, Edinho got a 10.0, and there's a pic of him going like this in the goal point 10.0 shirt. That's so amazing. I look forward to the Nuno Santos 10.0 goal point shirt. Like you can go seasons without having one of them. Respect. Yeah. And like literally like 12 hours before he drops his banger performance, there's rumors that Sporting could sell for 20 million. And then after the game, people are like, he's worth more.
He's worth at least 30. Like,
I don't know about that.
like 10.0.
But I
You gotta
respect.
be like,
I respect
yeah.
how I respect the Nuno Santos propaganda for sure. Though.
Yeah. Oh, I love Nuno.
Because he is a
One of my
baller. He is an
favorites.
underrated baller. But let's not get.
Yeah.
Some people get a little carried away.
10.0, like, I'm sorry. You got to be mini mentor putting up like 3 goals, 2 assists, game winner type of performance for a 10.0. You got to put in some work for a 10 for a perfect 10 rating. I'm sorry.
I will say that I'm looking at the SofaScore rating as well, which also gave him a clear 10 as well. So in 90 minutes, obviously, 92 touches, 53 accurate passes, 12 key passes, 13 crosses attempted, 9 was successful, 4 out of 4 long balls successful, 3 big chance created, 2 shots on target, 1 off target. So, I mean...
I stand by what I said. I said what I said.
And obviously an assist as well. So
he did have an assist, fair. But I said what I said. I stand by it.
And I mean, his heat map as well is pretty decent. He seems to be all over the pitch as well. But
he runs a lot.
Yeah, he does. But what I was going to ask is, what were your thoughts on Esgaio? You know, he is sort of almost a scapegoat, you could say, when Sporting doesn't go well and he's on the pitch. Some maybe deservedly, some maybe not. Richard, what did you think of his game?
Honestly, I didn't really notice him a ton. Like, he didn't do anything egregiously bad, but he didn't do anything amazing, which I guess is okay considering some of the stuff we've seen from him, especially this season. So he was bang average for me. He didn't look bad. I do think fans are sometimes a little harsh on the guy, and that doesn't help. Like, if you're gonna go and like yell at a guy on Instagram and Twitter, like, you need to be put on a fucking watch list. Like, you're a maniac. Stop. Like,
to be fair, he is one of the few guys who constantly does put himself in positions where he does not look like he belongs.
No, he doesn't help himself. Absolutely, he does not help himself. But there's also, I think there is case where fans they're relentless. It's like, leave the dude alone.
And also, he's unlucky sometimes. Obviously,
he has been. I don't know.
For me, his performance was like realistically, like in a vacuum, performance is pretty trash, right?
Yeah.
It's he like, especially like we were basically attacking the entire half.
Mm-hmm.
His specialty is not attacking. In Sporting's wingback heavy formation, like the wingbacks play a critical role in the attack. That's why Porro thrives. And to be honest, if Porro played in that first half,
we're up by 3-0.
Lots of situations where Esgaio, like, it swings around. He's got basically a one-on-one situation where if he can either get a cross off, if he can beat the man, or not even necessarily beat the man to the touchline, but just beat the man enough that he can get a cross off. He has zero one-on-one ability. So he would just receive the ball and look to play the cross on his second touch because he really has no other options. Or he can pass it back.
He seems almost timid on the attack.
And that's why he literally had like 6 crosses blocked in like 1 cross or 2 crosses that even actually made it into the box. I don't even think he completed a cross, right? But most of them don't even make it because he receives it and then he has to make his decision on his next touch because he doesn't have this. And sometimes I was just like, man, take him on. Just take him on and see what happens. Like, what do you have to lose? If you lose the ball, okay, fine, you lost the ball. Get back.
Shit happens.
Bro, take him on. Like, it's a one-on-one situation. There's so much space. Like, and it's like, you know, like in basketball, like when someone can't shoot, they kind of sag off, right? So that, you know, we're like, all right, if you want to take the shot, like, make us pay, but like we're gonna focus defensively otherwise. Like, he was basically, I feel like, kind of getting isolated because like Arouca was like, we'll focus in defending the middle and other areas. It's like we know that Weverson, guy playing left back, like can handle this guy
because he's so timid
in almost every situation. So like it's fine one-on-one, but like try to meg him, like do something. But now he just passed it into him. But at least he wasn't a defensive liability, and he really wasn't able to be a defensive liability because they had so little going forward in that first half.
They had like, I think 15 minutes of pressure overall this game, and he wasn't even on the field for the last.
He's just not on
this
level. He can't be on the team next year. He can't be on the team next year. I know he has a contract for multiple years, but it's like, bro, is this our new Laurie's finally gonna run out, and like is this the new Laurie? Because no one's gonna buy him. Like his
you
level is
might
like
get some MLS team that like
is Pash
falls
Fadeda.
for him, but
His level is like reserve / fringe starter on a lower lit table team. No one's paying $5 million, $4 million, $3 million, anything for him. So it's just like he's a money sink, and he's going to be a.
You might get an MLS team that's desperate to make it look like they're making a splash, but that's the best you're gonna do. And even then, that's
because
tentative.
He's like a Gaspar type signing for MLS. Like no one.
Yeah, he's gonna be like they might pay you like $1.5 million, $2 million, and that's the best you.
But no one's gonna be excited about that.
No, unless there's some lunatic like weird football hipster out in like Portland or Vancouver or like Seattle.
That's why Laurie would have hit a little bit because people would have been like, "Yo, we played for Liverpool, bro."
We're getting a guy from Liverpool. Academy, like under 20 World Cup finalist, 2011. Like, let's go. There would have been some weird fringe guy who would have been like, "Yeah, let's do this."
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe George Mendes works some magic and gets a club interested. You could see like Benfica just sold Thomas Tavares, who is just as bad, if not worse. I know he's younger than Esgaio, but he went to Spartak for $3 million. They got John Brooks off their books, so they only signed in the summer on a free.
We should just sign him, bro. We should just sign him. I was thinking if he was on a free and just was in Lisbon, bro, we should sign him. But I think he's going back to Germany.
Yeah, he's going to Hoffenheim, I think, for 500,000. So they made like 500,000.
Another body in front of Eduardo Quaresma in the depth chart.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and bring Oguchi Onyewu back from I think retirement. I think he's done at this point.
He's an analyst.
Yeah, we're gonna bring him out of retirement at this point. Like,
but before we move on, Rich, I'll ask you, who is your man of the match for this game?
Paulinho. He scored 2 goals. He created a couple chances. Like for me, like one of the better players. I was very sad to see him when he went off because it looked like it was a really bad injury. You never hope for a serious injury for any player. Thankfully, it's not serious. And I know people like to shit on him because he's scoring goals in the Taça Liga, and he's not consistently scoring goals in the league. But like, I think statistically, like this is either already his best goal scoring season for Sporting, or it's on pace to be. Like, how many goals and assists does he have this season? He's got to be up. I will tell you
because I tweeted something earlier from the account, which I thought was going to be a bit controversial for some people.
He has 8 goals in the league. He has 8 goals in the League Cup and 2 goals in the league.
So he's got 18 goal involvements.
And he had a couple in Champions League too. He had
18 goal involvements in all comps. So that is either a goal and assist in 23 games.
He probably has 10 goals, 8 assists, all comps then.
That's not bad.
I think it's 11 goals, 7 assists.
Okay, so you're midway through the season. Like, he's on pace to be close to.
But is he Allianz Cup stat padding, which would be the main argument against him?
Oh, I can see the argument.
But he played teams like Braga, Maritimo we lost to as well in the league. So these aren't bad teams. Like they're not like League 2, League 3 teams. These are like Arouca are like
only 6, one of them was. But to be fair, Farense is in the promotion zone of the second.
Yeah, they're looking to be one of the new
who we spanked 5-0, and he had 1 or 2.
Yeah, they're looking to be one of the new yo-yo clubs at this point. The way the league's kind of shaking.
I like Farense. They got good fans.
I like Farense.
If you have any fans, if you have any sort of like legit following, I want you in the first division.
Yeah. Like, I'd love to see like Blanche back. I mean, Beta Mar personally, I'd love to see back for my team. Like the bigger clubs like Lady, I'd like to see back eventually. Like, they're start to sort their shit out. Like clubs like that, like you want to have in the first division. Even like, I know people hate fucking Maritimo, but like they have an okay following. Like they should be. I'd like to see them go down, but I hate to see them be down there forever. Like, I'll give it to Paulinho. Good game, and he's lay off Paulinho. He's scored some big goals this season. Like, lay off. Y'all are gonna be eating your words when he scores a banger against Porto this weekend. Yeah,
Juicebox and Lauren in the comments. I know you're watching. The 2 biggest Paulinho haters I know.
90th minute, 1-1 game. Paulinho header to win the game. I'm calling it now.
He is quite literally big game Paulinho. Won the penalty against Benfica as well. I'm just saying. Like,
He had a goal against Tottenham at home at the Alvalade. He scored the first goal for Artur to address the Tottenham defense. Everybody focused on the Artur goal, but Paulinho scored a nice.
That
header
was
off
the
a
winner,
corner.
right?
Yeah, he scored the first goal off a really nice header off a corner. Like, lay off my guy Paulinho. I know he deserves some shit sometimes, but he doesn't deserve all the shit that we give him. But Danny, I miss Naval. I forgot Naval was a team.
It's not. They're disbanded.
Okay. I was gonna say
they're liquidated. They're not a club anymore. They're like Desportivo das Aves. I think they're completely dissolved.
Aves officially dissolved now too. I haven't kept up with them.
I believe so. They might have restarted like in the last year in like the true amateur leagues.
But
when they got relegated in 2018 and all that, they were dissolved.
Yeah, it's like a Estrela de Amadora. Estrela de Amadora is basically like a new club, whereas like Betamar and Blenance are like the original clubs, and Blenance just has the sod.
Yeah. Chris, who was your man of the match for this game?
I gotta give it to the GOAT. On the eve of his $20 million move to Italy, I gotta give it to the GOAT in a sense for this performance.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm obviously giving mine to Paulinho as well. I also failed to mention it was the Battle of the Esgallos. Obviously, Thiago on the other team, Ricardo on the other team. Yeah.
Raycord tried to make that happen, but no one cared.
No one gave us single solitary shit about that. They're like, cool, good for you.
I wish we could have Thiago Esgallo instead.
Yeah, I'd pick Thiago Esgallo maybe.
But yeah, moving on to, I believe, our sort of final main topic of the podcast, and that is so Saturday's game against Porto. It would have been against Braga originally if we didn't make it through, but that game's been postponed to I think maybe the 1st of February. So we play Porto in the Taça Liga. It's a 7:45 kickoff for the final. Let me just share my screen to get the window for you. So we can imagine that we know Trincão's back for this game. He's recovered from the flu. The only injury I believe we have at the moment is still Daniel Bragança, unfortunately.
Sam, wait, before we get into it,
Go on.
I thought of something that I have to tell you, and I want you to tweet it because it'll definitely bang the most if you tweet it.
Yeah, Sam's got that Twitter juice, not like us.
If Paulinho plays, if he starts, and like he walked off with like he goes down, doesn't even celebrate the win. They fucking put him in the fucking shoulder brace, and he sadly goes off. You know, like the Paul Pierce incident where he like got carried, but it's only because he had to take a shit.
Yeah.
If that is all just like a shoulder bruise and he's literally fine, like you gotta tweet like both of those like side by side because like that is
the LeBron James one when the AC broke.
Yeah, it's like that's like what it would remind me of. But if he's actually hurt, fair play, man.
If he's hurt, but
they announced it was just a shoulder bruise, so I think he is fine to play.
Yeah, I was like, he separated his shoulder, he broke his collarbone. I thought he broke his collarbone, maybe. I was like,
I thought it was his shoulder, like immediately, because I've seen separated shoulders multiple
But if he's perfectly fine in like 2 days, like, kind of funny.
Okay. Michael Jordan flu game.
I'll tweet that if it happens, if he's starting.
Please do. If he scores, you have to.
But yeah, so this is a 7:45 kickoff. Obviously, the final of the Taça Liga. Last time we played Porto this season was the game that Matias Nunes was sold like 2 days before, and we ended up getting smacked. I think 3-0 with Porro getting sent off as well for doing the Luis Suarez impersonation. But unfortunately, it didn't work as well as Luis Suarez's did for Uruguay in 2010. But yeah, Rich, you said earlier that Porro is going to be celebrating in the stands with the team. So what are your predictions for this game?
2-1, Paulinho game winner.
Back-to-back as Gallo starts.
Unless you're going to throw a stab to the Wolves. As Gallo start, yeah. Doesn't look horrible, but doesn't look great. I think Nuno Santos has games and assists on both the goals. Pot gets one, Paulinho gets the winner. 2-1, I'm gonna say. I'll plant my fucking stake in the ground now, and if I'm wrong, well, I never predicted anything. I'm always right until proven otherwise.
Fair enough, Chris. What about you? What are your predictions for this game?
gonna be tough, right? And
Yeah.
Porto are definitely the favourites. I think we can all agree.
Oh,
Yeah,
if you don't
they're
think Porto's a
definitely
favorite, you've
favorites.
been living under a rock.
They rolled in here a bit more convincingly than us. I mean, Vizeo put up a fight at times, but the early goal, he scored in the first 10 minutes. You never really thought that they could really do it unless they scored before the end of the first half, which they failed to when they had a little spell of pressure. So yeah, I definitely think that we're an underdog coming in here. I will say though, the one thing that plays to our favor though is you only have to hold out for 90 minutes. Don't have to hold out for 120 as we would in other
but do we? This is the thing. I was gonna say penalties, but I've never seen
we have no ability to park the bus sadly because our defensive back play good enough for that.
Yeah.
So we shouldn't park the bus. But at the same time, we're gonna have to definitely pick our moments going forward. And like we have the quality on the break, like guys like Nuno Santos, stuff like that. Like the diagonal balls on the break are definitely like where we're gonna have our most success.
For sure.
Like just spamming crosses in the middle, bro. Pep was just like eating everything up today, bro. Vizeu, even when they got down there and they kind of were out of choices and just spammed across, like it never worked. Porto had that shit covered. So I find it hard to believe that we're gonna just spam a random cross in and get a goal, but you never know, I guess. Yeah. I hope that we concede, we at least show like signs of life. And I hope that from the beginning we show signs of life and it's a contested game. Like if it's like a hotly contested game where we're both just kind of smashing each other, but no one's really creating any dangerous chances. Like, to be honest, that's fine. And I won't even be mad about that. That's totally cool. If it's just us either sitting back and kind of just getting picked apart, either because that's the strategy or just because they're better than us, it will be a very anxious watch. And it will probably feel like a matter of like, if not when the first goal comes in, and then they'll score and it'll be like, well, we haven't even like really reached the net yet. How are we supposed to score? And then if it gets to 2 or more, it's like there's just not enough time in a 90-minute game like this to turn it around like that. I feel like so.
Yeah.
I hope that it's just like a head smashing game that has like few chances.
I was gonna predict penalties, but that we went on penalties.
That is my prediction.
I don't think I've ever seen a Don come close to saving a penalty in my life. So that's what gives.
He did save one time. He saved one against Bullness Sad at the Jamord. I specifically remember that.
That doesn't count.
One of the
that doesn't count. I don't think because Bullness Sad's not a real team.
And I think he caused the penalty, to be fair, as well.
Oh, of course
when he ran into
it definitely doesn't count because it's his
if that's Jamord like 2 seasons ago, maybe.
I remember that one. Yeah.
All right.
Did he not say one against Famalicão as well? He
might have saved one other one. I remember that save, and then there's maybe one other one.
It's either he saved it or that they missed.
There's not a lot of them for sure.
Yeah,
because every time I've seen us get concede a penalty, he's just never been close.
You got to do the Wojciech Szczesny, where like you move your legs one way and dive the other way.
Yeah, you got to do like that.
If you do that every single time, like let's say the save rate of just randomly guessing and not doing anything is like what, 10%. If you do the leg fake thing, you must double those odds. Just do that.
You got to at least get
15%. And I guess part of it is getting the timing right of when to do the leg fake, but like that's like the most effective strategy I've seen.
Who's the old Liverpool keeper? Jerzy Dudek was just a friggin' wild man on
the crazy
the
legs and the the Australian goalie that got them into the World Cup. He was
he was really active on the line too.
Yeah, I feel like it increases your odds. I don't know why more people don't do it, but Adon, the point of all that is Adon's not going to do that, and he gives me very little confidence.
Yeah, unless we sign Ricardo on a 1-day contract and sub him in just for penalties, because that dude was.
And then have him warm up, bro. We'll have Renan Rubedu. We told him to warm up, test the
Right
league
now, he's coming
semifinal, and then Paulinho scored against us, and he was just,
I remember. In the
Yeah.
just warming
97th
up for
minute.
nothing.
Yeah, he warmed up for absolutely nothing. It was brutal. Yeah. No, unless you're gonna get Ricardo, because that guy was a fucking monster at penalties, like for time. But yeah, that's I live by what I said. I'll say 2-1, we win just by the skin of our teeth.
I'm going for a penalties win as well for Chris as well. So you guys are saying that Dan's not going to save. Technically, he doesn't have to save anything. Like
You're not wrong.
We're gonna win the shootout. He's not gonna save one.
They're gonna hit like a crossbar or like miss the net completely.
Yeah.
If we do, like,
I can remember. I think in 2018 and 2017 we played Porto twice in the Taça Liga consecutive years, and I think both games went to penalties. Obviously, I know teams change, but that's all I can remember when we played Porto, just playing them on penalties. I think William Carvalho scored one of the winners.
We beat them in the 2018 semifinal on penalties. We beat them in the semifinal Taça de Portugal that year before Alcochete.
Yeah,
because we still had hope for that end of the season. We beat them on penalties in the second leg because Kawach scored a late winner, and then we beat them in the final in 2019 on penalties as well because that was the Renan year.
Yeah, so
and we beat and you know what? We beat them in the Taça de Portugal final the next year too. Actually, we had 4 penalty shootout wins over them.
Yeah, they've never beat us in penalties, and like that I can remember.
Yeah, because we beat them in the Taça de Portugal final in 2019 as well. That was the Luis Felipe game.
And we also have we ever lost a shootout in Allianz Cup since it's been in this format?
Yeah. In this format, no. We lost the very first one to Stubble.
Yes, I remember that.
I think in this format, I don't think so.
We've even won the entire Final Four just on penalties alone, multiple times, I think.
We've done that. Well, yeah, we've done that.
At least once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
So
I forgot about that.
If we go to penalties in this competition, bro, we have a very good record. We have a very good record against Porto on penalties in general.
Now you're giving me hope for now. If we go to a shootout and lose, I'm gonna be so disappointed because now you're giving me hope.
Yeah.
Rincon's gonna be back though.
Sadly. Shit, yeah, that's too bad. Oh.
So yeah, Mark Edwards is definitely sitting on the bench.
Edwards is definitely on the bench. Yeah. New last bit of news too. We have a alleged new League Cup format I wanted to run by you guys.
Go on.
Which is they want to apparently it's going to be Final Four. There's going to be no group stage. It's going to be just the top 4 in the Primeira Liga, and they want to move it. They want to move it abroad, which is it's certainly a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it when they say abroad. I know people talk about like Switzerland, France. It's definitely going to Saudi or Qatar.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't think it's going to like France. It doesn't make sense because no one is going to see. No one's going to go. I know there's a lot of like immigration, like for Portuguese immigrants in Portugal and in France and stuff like that. But take it out to Saudi, where 1, you could probably get more money for sponsorships, and 2, probably more eyes in
Spanish
stadiums.
League. That's what the Spanish.
They moved the Super. They moved the Super Cup.
And Italy was played in Saudi Arabia as well, and they played it in the winter instead of the summer.
France. The only time I can think France did move the Super Cup to Canada for a few years. Like they
Portugal,
played their Super Cup in like Montreal.
They did play the Taça de Liga, the final, maybe Taça de Portugal final, in the 90s in Paris, I believe, or somewhere in France. Because I saw
might have been a Super Taça.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the Taça de. Oh, it was probably the Super Taça. Yeah, because Taça de Liga was only invented in 2007.
Yeah, it was. It's very like much still in its like infancy. I should.
But
say.
yeah, I mean, we've talked in the last pod. We talked about maybe like. And this is something that the Portuguese Federation has even talked about, maybe adding a European spot just to increase the value of the trophy. But if they do what you just outlined, that would be the fast track to completely devaluing the trophy. You're basically going to get the same 4 teams every single year, and it's not even going to feel real. It's going to feel like some sort of like Super Cup 2.0. Like
we already called the Mickey Mouse Cup.
Yeah,
that's kind of what it is.
Unless we win it, then it's a serious.
Unless we're in it. That's the thing, though. Unless your team's in the final, you don't give a shit. Like that's
Campeão de Inverno is going to be like the winner of like 2 scrimmages now, which is just that's.
I'd rather you just scrap it at this point. If you really want to do something abroad, I'd be okay with them taking the Super Taça abroad because that gives you more options.
I mean, they can still do everything that they just did because I like the new format better than the old.
I actually didn't
It gives
mind
more
it.
teams a chance. It gives more teams a chance. Makes the group stage more fake, feel more real. Three
And
teams.
it's only one extra game too to get to the final.
2 group games is like when it's a 3-team group, it feels fake too. So it gives more teams a chance. The group feels realer. How about just play the final 4 after you do everything the same in Saudi Arabia? Okay, I'm more fine with that. But if they just completely ruin it and make it the top 4 automatically, then it's just stupid.
It's a waste of time. I'd rather if you really want to do something abroad, like I get it. I'd be okay with them doing the Super Toss abroad because a lot of leagues have done that. Like Spain does that now, and they make it like a Final Four of their own, where it's like we're gonna take the cup winner, the league champion, and then either the runners up for I don't know if it's the runners up from the league or like both, like a runner up from each competition. I don't know how they work that. I know France, they've played their Super Cup abroad. They've actually come to Canada a few times and played it. Italy plays their Super Cup mid-season now as well. They play the Super Cup mid-season in Saudi Arabia the last couple of years, so it's not completely out of pocket. It's just if they want to move to just a Final Four, it's really weird. It's just it devalues the competition.
Yeah,
it makes it so meaningless.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I don't because if it's going to be the winter, you can't really take it. No offense, but you can't really take it to Canada because it's going to be absolutely freezing.
No, if it was going to take place like spring, summer, you could do Toronto, you could do New York, New Jersey, you could do like more of the North American America. Because of the time of year, you're very limited on where you can go climate wise. You're either
I'm shocked they haven't explored that more because they usually just do the Algarve every season. Yeah. It seems like the Super Cup's just in Fado.
It's Algarve or Aveiro.
Or those sometimes it's in Coimbra. Sometimes it's in Coimbra.
They've rotated. Like I think the last like 7 have been all in Aveiro. Before that, they kept going to Algarve and Coimbra. Like it's really weird how they do it.
Yeah, like I can only see them going to like Saudi or Qatar, especially now that Ronaldo's there, because they can market it as like if Sporting get there, you could be like, oh, this is Ronaldo's former club.
Players
from like 8 years ago.
Yeah, like I really don't know. Like if they do it like maybe France or they go to Italy or England, they're not going to get a lot of turnout, and that's just not going to happen. Especially like obviously it depends what stadium. Like if they did go to England, what stadium are they going to? Well, they're not definitely going to like not Wembley or any of those big ones.
Or Tottenham. You're going to do like
Charlton,
maybe?
like you mentioned the Sideman charity match earlier. Maybe it's like a Charlton or like
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, even
it's going to be a London-based ground. Probably it's going to be like Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
like
Crystal Palace is a decent one, like the 20-30K. Craven Cottage is small, man.
Well, they're
Craven
Cottage
under 20K, I think.
MK Dons in League One have a big stadium that is like never full, so maybe
25K, bro. Why do they have that, dude? That's like if B-Stab built a 20K stadium, and be like, why?
Or like half
they have like no fan. They're like a kind of fake club too, right?
Yeah, so they replaced very Wimbledon, who now are in League Two as well, I think.
Yeah, the some new owners came in, bought Wimbledon, and then they North American style just relocated the team.
But no one they wanted to like associate it with the history, but no one cared. And now the Wimbledon's actually back, so all the Wimbledon fans are just fans of Wimbledon again. So like, this is just a totally fake club.
Yeah, it's a
with a 20K stadium.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything else that we have to wrap up? Like any loose ends, Chris? Vitality news?
Other than we've submitted a €7 million offer for Diamande after our €5 million bid was rejected. So probably if we pay in the range of 10 million for Diamande, like don't be shocked. 8 + 2, 7 + 3, 10 flat, something like that. Like it's probably gonna happen. Or 7 or 8 million for like 70% of the pass or something.
Oh God, just light your money on.
So we still do their valuation of 10 mil, but don't buy the whole pass. So yeah, don't be shocked when that happens because that seems to be advancing.
I got nothing to add to that.
And the ladies have gotten rocked by.
I've made my opinion heard. It's a waste of time and money.
I can't really give an opinion. I've not watched him play, so I don't want to give an opinion.
I saw him play
legit one game. You're not going here to watch Mafra, like.
They played Porto, and it was on TV. I saw that game. In the Cup, maybe? Or was it the League Cup? It might have been Allianz Cup over the
One
December.
of the two.
Yeah, he didn't stand out. They lost. So.
No.
Doesn't mean much, though.
No.
Yeah, I think that's all we have time for, unless you guys can think of anything else.
Just our women getting patterned up by Benfica 2 games in a row, but that's about it. That's like old news now.
Yeah, we're used to that now.
Yeah, we're pretty well used to our women's team not doing great. Like, it is what it is.
Actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Mafia didn't lose that game. Because I think
Oh,
they
is
took
that
the
the
lead.
game that Porto tied in the League Cup?
I think they tied, actually.
It might have been. It might have been.
I don't want to dishonor Mafia like that. I think they tied, to be fair.
That might have been the game that Porto tied and everybody.
But I don't remember it being like, yo, like, that's
This guy's
back, though. Like, we
he
got
didn't
to sign
stand
him for
out.
10 mil, like, immediately.
Yeah, but at this point, I would say I trust Amorim with transfer policy. I mean, he's gotten a few things wrong this season, but overall, Morita was a great signing, and that was when
He
pushed
probably
for.
thinks he fits the profile to play the back three well. I'm guessing.
That must be it.
Yeah, I trust the scouting team as well. With sort of younger talent, they sort of hit it.
Mafia
straight on,
plays the back three as well, I think.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. But yeah, we will call it there. Thank you everyone for watching episode 172. We will be back next week, hopefully with celebrating the Taça da Liga win, or probably being very sad that we got dominated and lost. Anyway,
one extreme or the other. Like, it's gonna be no in between.
yeah.
If we here's the thing: if we lose in penalties, it can't be that sad because we at least got to the best chance of winning.
Yeah,
I like
But
her
if we
out
get
winning
patterned
penalties
up,
and
then it's
winning
a different
in.
story.
I don't think that we're gonna win in 90 minutes. Like, it seems more likely to win in penalties than in 90 minutes. But if we win anyway, we'll be happy. But if we lose in penalties, we'll be like, all right, whatever. We did what we could, I guess. But if we just lose 3-0, 2-0 regular time, yeah, I'll be sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Fair enough.
I think we covered it all.
Make sure you follow Chris here. Make sure you follow Richard here. And make sure you follow myself here. Also, the main two guys who aren't here today, Danny Saldana and Steph Teixeira, who hopefully will be back with us next week. But yeah, make sure to follow us here as well on Twitter. Also, TikTok Sporting160_EN. Like I said, subscribe to the YouTube. Hopefully, we can get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. And hopefully, we'll have, some extra things planned if we do get there. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Really do appreciate it. As always, see you next time. Peace.